In these series of videos, we're going to show you how to lift Kingspan curve wall panels using a CladBoy CB4. There will be 3 or 4 videos in this sequence. The first 2 will talk about the machine in general terms. Then we'll do a video showing how to lift horizontal curve wall panels. And the final video will be showing you how to lift vertical curve wall panels. So, as with all our machines, when it arrives on site, the CladBoy will have been packed away either in a transport box, or in the case of a CladBoy CB4, in an open transport cradle, as you can see here. Now, it's important that you take a note of how it's packed away, because at the end of the hire, it's your responsibility to make sure the machine's packed away again. That allows us to move the equipment through the carrier network economically and also without the risk of damage. So it's a good idea to take maybe a couple of photographs with your mobile phone or a short video, so that at the end of the hire you can remind yourselves of how the machine's packed away. And just another note about when it arrives on site, it will be wrapped in pallet wrap, and you need to note that that pallet wrap is biodegradable and it can be composted or put into the recycling. So please take a note of how it's packed away and make sure that you repack it after the hire period. The other thing is that you need to know that all the equipment that we send to site, the components are chosen to match the panels that you've told us that you're going to lift. If for any reason you think there are missing components, please get in touch with us as soon as possible so that we can rectify that, or we can reassure you that you have the right components. So Neil and Gabe are going to come into shot now, and we're going to start assembling this machine for a horizontal curve wall panel application. So first of all, we're going to lift the roof cross arms off the extension arms, place them to either side, making sure that you put the suction pads uppermost and then don't allow the suction pads to touch anything other than the panel surface. Now we're taking the extension bars out of the cradle and we're slotting those on either side of the CladBoy. Make sure that they're secured with the locking pins, and the locking pins are secured with the R-clips. And then you put the roof cross arms with the suction pads on the ends of the extension arms, and again lock and secure them with the pins and R-clips as shown. So for the horizontal wall application, these cross arms need to be orientated so the pads are facing away from the machine. They're facing towards the wall basically. And then the final thing is to connect the suction hoses together and to the machine. They just click together. All the hoses are on quick release couplings. To connect them, you just simply push them together and you hear a positive click, and to remove them, you squeeze the collar, pull it apart. And then when the machine, when it arrives, will have 4 vacuum outlets plugged. You need to remove the plugs and connect the 4 suction hoses to the machine. So now you've got the machine suction pads at the end of the extension arms connected along the hoses to the actual machine. The final thing to put on is the horizontal secondary safety straps that go at each end of the machine. So Neil's just unwinding the strap there. And that's slid into the end of the extension arm and again pinned and locked into position with the pin and the R-clip. Now, secondary safety straps are not optional, they're mandatory. You must use them when you're vacuum lifting above head height. So please make sure you use the safety straps, and there are separate safety straps for the vertical application, and we'll show you that later. So again, the best way to assemble this machine is in the cradle, as we've shown you, and when you're not using the machine, between panel lifts or between working sessions, it's a good idea to put the machine back in the cradle and store it in this position. In this position in the cradle, the machine cabinet is upright and it's watertight, and that will prevent any water getting into the electrical componentry inside the machine. So please store it in the cradle when not used. But don't send it back to us in this assembled manner. Make sure you pack the machine away, as I've explained to you, and as it arrived on site. We're going to stop this now and we're going to restart it and talk about some of the machine features.